She looked like a rookie, until her battlefield footage from Afghanistan shocked the generals. The first morning Lieutenant Mara Blake arrived at Camp Rowan, most soldiers barely looked up. She was small, quiet, moved like someone afraid to take up space. Her uniform looked too new. Her boots were barely creased. The youngest privates whispered that she must have come straight from the academy. A rookie. A soft one. Someone who didn't know what dust, blood, or fear tasted like. Mara didn't correct them. She stood in the hallway outside the briefing room, clutching her file, waiting for the commanding officer to finish yelling at someone inside. Around her, soldiers rushed past, laughing, dragging their gear, swapping stories of overnight patrols. All the noise blurred together, but one voice reached her clearly. "Look at her," a corporal muttered to his friend, not even lowering his tone. "She won't last a week here." His friend snorted. "Rookie officers never do." Mara kept her eyes forward. Her breath was steady. She had trained for years to quiet her pulse when insult, panic, or memory tried to rise. It was a skill she had learned in a different desert, under a different sun. When the door finally opened, Colonel Reeves stepped out and scanned her from head to toe. "You're the new logistics lieutenant?" he asked, almost surprised. "Yes, sir." "You look young." "I'm 32, sir." He blinked. 32? That was the first moment someone noticed she didn't quite fit the image people painted of her. But it wouldn't be the last. The colonel waved her inside, and the briefing began. The room filled with grizzled NCOs and officers who had served multiple deployments. The west wall was covered in maps of supply routes, choke points, and recent convoy ambushes. As the colonel explained the new rotational patterns, a sergeant major leaned toward another soldier and whispered loudly, "She's taking over route coordination?" What does she know about supply convoys? Or Taliban ambush zones? Mara heard it. She always heard everything. She kept her eyes on the maps, her posture still, absorbing every detail. When Reeves turned to her, the room shifted. "Lieutenant Blake, anything to add?" "You're taking over the sector." Mara stepped forward, tapped a point near Highway 4, and spoke in a calm, measured tone. "Sir, if we adjust the turnaround time by 40 minutes and push the convoy west of the ridge, we can avoid the predictable pattern from last month. The valley is too quiet right now. Silence there usually means someone's preparing an ambush. We'll be safer shifting south. It's longer, but we'll lose fewer vehicles." The room fell quiet. The officers stared. "How do you know the valley's too quiet?" one asked. Mara hesitated. "Experience, sir." "From where?" "Previous deployments." He lifted a brow. "Which unit?" "Dot attached support." Her answer was vague. Too vague. But Reeves didn't press. "Make the change," he ordered, surprising the others. When the meeting ended, conversations erupted the second she stepped out. "What previous deployments?" "She never said which unit." "She looks like she's never even carried a rucksack." "She must have been in a desk job." They didn't know that the things she had done could never appear in a service record available to ordinary officers. Some stories lived in sealed files. Inside locked rooms, spoken only in whispers between people who had bled together. 2 days later, Mara inspected the motor pool at dawn. Soldiers fixing Hummers stole glances as she walked past. Some nodded politely. Others didn't bother. A sergeant accidentally dropped a toolbox right in front of her boots. "Oh, rookie alert," he muttered, smirking. Before she could respond, Captain Rylan Hayes stepped out from behind a vehicle. He was tall, broad, and had once been known as one of the best convoy leaders in the division. Rumors said he was hard on newcomers. Too hard, according to some. He gave Mara a long, assessing stare. "You recommended a new convoy route. That's bold for someone fresh out of the academy." "I wasn't fresh out of the academy." "Right," he said sarcastically. "Your handwriting still looks fresh." Then, for reasons she couldn't understand, he grabbed her shoulder, not violently, but firmly, as if to turn her toward him and make her look him in the eye. "Listen, Lieutenant. People can die if you guess wrong. Convoy strategy isn't a chess game." Mara didn't flinch. Didn't step back. I don't guess. Everyone guesses, Hayes snapped. Unless you've seen the real thing. You ever actually been under fire? She didn't answer. He released her, shaking his head as if disappointed. The convoy rolled out hours later, following the route she had chosen. As they crossed the southern ridge, radio chatter rose sharply. A drone operator watching from above confirmed it. 50 armed fighters hiding in the valley. Waiting. Her instinct had been right. When they arrived back at camp with every vehicle intact, Hayes avoided her eyes. But the soldiers still didn't understand who she was. They would soon. 3 weeks later, a general from the Pentagon arrived at Camp Rowan for a review of operational efficiency. With him came analysts, tech officers, and a request for all available footage from previous battles relevant to current training. That included historical footage stored in the secure database, used for evaluating threat patterns and convoy behavior. Mara was in the back of the briefing room when the general's aide plugged in the drive. Dozens of clips blinked onto the digital menu. One thumbnail made her chest tighten. A burned-out village. A broken street. A shattered convoy. And in the center, a lone soldier running through gunfire. She knew the clip. She had lived it. The general selected that exact video first. "Gentlemen," he said, "this footage is from Operation Thunderbreaker in Afghanistan. One of the most brutal ambushes we encountered. Most of the convoy was hit within minutes, but one operator turned the tide." Mara closed her eyes. The screen lit up with chaos. RPGs streaked overhead. Dust exploded into the sky. Soldiers scrambled behind wrecked vehicles. The camera was shaky, held by someone half crawling for cover. Then Mara appeared on screen. Or rather, the version of her most people never knew existed. In the video, she wore sand-stained gear, her face streaked with sweat and ash. She moved with fierce precision, not hesitation. She sprinted through open fire to pull a wounded corporal behind a wall. She dragged another soldier by the vest while bullets chipped the ground inches from her boots. She yelled coordinates into a radio, then picked up a discarded rifle and fired accurately into enemy positions while shielding another soldier with her own body. The room went silent. No one breathed. No one blinked. The Rayon Mara stood frozen at the back, wishing the floor would swallow her. She had never wanted this footage to surface. She had never wanted her past to be a spectacle. Who is that?" A major whispered. The general clicked the timestamp. Operator 47B. Attached to a classified quick response support team. Only 3 members survived that day. I slowly turned toward Mara, because the scar on the video version's cheek. The stance, the height. It all matched her. Captain Hayes' jaw dropped. "Lieutenant Blake. That's you?" She stared at the screen, not speaking. Reeves choked out, "Why wasn't this in your file?" "Because it's sealed, sir," she said softly. The general stepped forward. Lieutenant Blake's unit was part of a specialized team deployed when conventional forces were overwhelmed. Her actions saved 12 American soldiers that day. And 2 Afghan civilians. The footage is used in high-level tactical training, though identities are redacted. Mara's hands tightened behind her back. The general continued, "She earned commendations she cannot publicly claim. And she never has." She requested reassignment to logistics afterward, citing moral fatigue and a desire for quieter work. The room stayed eerily quiet. Then Hayes whispered, "You served in Thunderbreaker? That day?" "Yes." "And you did all that?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. He swallowed hard, visibly ashamed of every moment he had dismissed her. A sergeant in the front row shifted uncomfortably. "Ma'am, we thought you were a rookie." Mara finally lifted her eyes. "Everyone has a story you don't see." The general nodded. "Lieutenant Blake is exactly the kind of leader this base needs. She understands both the price of war and the importance of precision. You'd be wise to learn from her." For the first time since she arrived, the room's eyes held respect, not fear, not awe, but genuine respect. Later that evening, as the sun dipped behind the distant hills, Mara walked across the quiet camp. Hayes hurried up beside her. I was wrong, he said softly. About everything. Mara smiled faintly. People judge what they don't understand. It's human. But you. Why didn't you tell anyone? Because I didn't come here to be a hero, she said. I came here to rebuild something inside myself. Hayes nodded slowly. If you ever want to talk about that day, I don't. Then I won't ask. They walked in silence. Behind them, soldiers whispered, but this time, the whispers held admiration instead of doubt. And for the first time since her transfer, Mara felt her chest lighten just a little. If my work inspires you even a little, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I truly love knowing that.